right. Welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. Cool. How's everybody doing? Hello. Good to see Adriana. Haven't seen you in a while. Happy New Year. Have you been on since the New Year? I feel like we haven't seen you. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, because I showed the Rosca de Reyes, I think.
Oh
Didn't I
yeah,
show you
she
that
did.
last time?
She did do that. I feel like you were. I think she was on for the first episode, but then she's had like a few weeks
Maybe I
off
forgot.
since then.
I
Yeah.
feel like this January is either gone really fast, but then it hasn't. But then February is already next week, so I don't know. It's out there. Welcome. We already saw people on that get the notification as soon as we make a new show. Frank was already. I'm like, hey, I haven't even given out this link, and he's already on. Hello, Frank. A happy Monday to Jay Carrasco and Albert. What's going on? Here we go. Everybody that's on. So it should be a lot of fun. Show today, all about the Mexican national team and the World Cup qualifiers that have started. That will start in the next 2 days. So it's gonna be a great show. So Cesar,
Yeah.
are you ready? Because Adriana's always ready. She has the
of course,
the headset and the awesome. Yeah. So
let's see. Well, my Wi-Fi is ready, my laptop's ready, but me, am I mentally ready? I'm not entirely sure. It even caught me a little off guard because I know we've been talking about it for a while. It's like, all right, Mexico's going to play against like Jamaica at the end of January, and then at the start of this week, I'm like, all right, let me mentally prep for this. But for some odd reason, I can't wrap my head around the fact that it's going to be on Thursday. I feel like it should be on the weekend, and it's going to just, I don't know. It's just like it's caught me a little off guard, and we'll see. Hopefully, if Mexico will be ready. So far, everything's looking good for the national team, but so far, no COVID cases just yet. We might have a few injury issues. We might have a few injury issues, which we'll dive into later. But things are looking okay for El Tri, just for now.
Things are not looking as good as Adriana's cool blue headset that we have.
I know, right? I'm always jealous.
She puts it on.
I never use them for meetings. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna be like serious and just like not do this. But I hadn't really looked at them. This is pretty cool. It's kind of distracting though. I get like the blue light like down here.
Right away, just somebody has a question. It is, so we just let's get this one out of the way. Diego Lainez moved to Rayo Vallecano. True or smoke? Lots of rumors that are coming out. Obviously, he's not happy. The team's doing really well, not getting the playing time, not being able to even play any minutes over the last weekend. But this kind of came out there today. Adriana, Cesar, anything that you would see? I think he stays until maybe the summer at least, or we'll see where you use him. So I don't necessarily have anything concrete.
I'd be curious to hear what Adriana has to say, like what they're hearing over at Tudiana, because only from what I've been reading, it seems like there's a Spanish outlet that's saying that he is being looked at by Rayo Vallecano. But the issue, though, is that Rayo Vallecano, if you believe the reports, they're looking at essentially they're looking at several players. It's not just that they're interested in Diego Lainez. It's like they're interested in several wingers like him. So that's at least what I've been reading. But I'm interested to hear what she's been hearing over at Tudiana.
I think probably what would sort of set up all these rumors or all these versions regarding him leaving is he just received his Spanish passport like a couple months ago. So just after that, he's immediately a lot more enticing for other teams to have him join. I do think it seems more likely of him leaving just because of how few minutes he's been getting with the team. Yeah. So I think they're probably just interested in him getting more minutes so that he can come back at any time, because everything that we've been hearing is also a loan. It's not them actually selling him. So it doesn't seem that far-fetched just because you really want a player like him. And I remember at the time, he was the most expensive player for the team in history. So just having a player that you've invested so much money in, you probably want him to, go develop, go somewhere where we know you'll get the minutes, and then just come back and you'll still be a player for us. So the only thing is probably, I don't know, maybe salary-wise, maybe there'll be some issues, but definitely the fact that he has a Spanish passport is just a lot better for him in just regarding options in Spain.
It's interesting in that, and we'll start talking about the qualifiers right now, but we talked about it in a little chat, 5 changes over the weekend. They're up 4-0, 4-1, I believe, and Diego doesn't get, minutes. Now, granted, this Real Betis is doing really, really well, and, they're fighting for a top 4 spot now, could be in the Champions League. There's a lot of competitions that are coming. He has had some starts. There's a lot of options in this team. It's not like, he's the coach isn't necessarily playing the people that he doesn't want. He really does have to fight for that chance. And when he makes that chance, he has to do it. So if it was a team that was doing really bad and he's just not using them, right? But this is right now they're on the caliber of Atletico Madrid, of Barcelona, of Real Madrid. Imagine that's how well they're playing. So is Diego Lainez a starter in a top 4 team? Maybe not right now, but I think that, from all the reports, the coaches do like him. It's just who's the best player, and he's got a lot of competition in Real Betis team.
100%. And it seems pretty obvious that Real Betis really value him as a prospect, and they see him as someone who could be important in the future. But as of now, like you said, so there's just a lot of competition. It's tough for him to get minutes. But at the very least, the good news is that I know he's had his criticism for not having much of an impact when he's on the field, but he's had a couple of goals this winter. I think he scored twice in December, if I remember correctly, and one might have been in January, but I think that's looking a little bit better for him. So even if he does stick around Real Betis, maybe at the very least looks like he's having more of an impact on the pitch.
Yes. All right. Thanks a lot for your questions. We're going to jump in right away to the qualifiers, which is like Cesar just mentioned, it's here. We have the 3-game window. I'll talk a little bit about the convocatoria that came out on Thursday late night for all of us that are in this game. Like Adriana was saying, you keep refreshing at noon, and it refreshed for about 7 hours, Adriana, because it didn't come out till 10 p.m. figuring out if there was some last minute changes or who would be in, who would be out. But let's go ahead and review it, and hopefully you're able to see a little bit. It's going to block us off right there. But talk about the goalkeepers. We'll kind of go examining it as far as there it is.
For a second there.
Pointing.
I think taking
it out.
I think we lost Risa. So I think. Oh, wait. So you back?
I'm here. Hello.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
All right. You're back.
Yeah. 4 keepers: Cota, Ochoa, Orozco, and Talavera. So, a lot of people are keep saying, why do we keep bringing 4 keepers, right? And right off the bat, I understand, but in a year where COVID, look at all these teams with so many bajas. It's 3 different games in 1 week, and you're gonna have to 20 to 30 players. Is that crazy for not bringing in somebody else? And do we really need the 4 keepers, Adriana?
I don't think we need them. I'd actually be pretty frustrated because I'm pretty sure probably 2 of them are not going to get any playing minutes. But I'm guessing that is just still trying to get that 3rd goalkeeping position just set. I'm pretty sure he's set. We know Ochoa's going. I think Talavera is pretty high up there for the 2nd goalkeeper. I think it's just the 3rd goalkeeper that's kind of giving him trouble. So, but still, I don't think they're going to play. I just think they're going to have them on and just probably look at them in practice and then try to decide on one of them. I'm just kind of frustrated who are just kind of old. I mean, I would really love for it to be a younger goalkeeper looking into probably Acevedo. I know he's not going to play. I don't really mind him not playing at this point, but I do think it's a great opportunity for him to start just getting that feel of the senior national team. So yeah, I probably just look at the experience. I mean, you have Ochoa and Talavera. Just imagine how much he could actually learn from them. I really love Cota. I think Orozco does a pretty decent job, but I just don't think that we should still be looking into those goalkeepers. I think you should start looking into younger generations if you can.
Yeah, I think what's a little frustrating for me, and I think what's frustrating for a lot of fans, is that Acevedo was given a chance in that recent friendly, and I think outside of Julian Araujo, who got the call up for this current call up, I thought Acevedo was the most impressive player. I know there are a couple goals allowed there, but I thought he was very, very impressive in that recent friendly in December for Mexico. And it's one thing for us to be hyping up someone like a Marcelo Flores. I think you can have a debate whether Marcelo Flores should be in this call-up or not, but it is still someone who's still a teenager. But with Acevedo, I mean, this is a captain for Santos Laguna. This is someone who has proven, I want to say for the last 2 years now, that he's one of the better goalkeepers in Liga MX. And I am I do question a little bit why he's not a part of the setup when you do like the age of some of those goalkeepers. And I would say that, I don't know, if Mexico had, if Talavera and if Ochoa weren't available, I think I'd rather have Acevedo than an Orozco or Cota. So I think that's the biggest absence for me in this roster. But other than that, not too many surprises. Like I said, we can debate about Flores, but I think it's just the goalkeeper that's the big issue. But that's about it.
Especially the goalkeepers. I know people want to see Acevedo. I feel sometimes we fall in love with flashy good keepers. Like dude, the guy is awesome. Like, you know, from his hair to how he handled himself. Like, we want this type of personality in the national team. That's us fans, right? And yes, he's a good keeper. Costa is not a bad keeper. You know,
no,
he's
yeah.
Who's the other one?
It's just like looking.
Jonathan Orozco. Jonathan
Orozco is not a bad keeper. Any of those keepers, and you could say, okay, Acevedo's got, you know, is younger and we can get him. But when it comes to the national team, when a coach and puts something together and goes, okay, it's a process, right? Acevedo now finally got a call up last in one of the friendlies, but I still need to have this type of the team that I'm going to have, and I'm going to let these people in there. And at least with the goalkeepers, you can have older goalkeepers. Like, it's not like you if you don't have anybody in your 20s, dude, you know, you don't have any of the younger generation. They're going to be there, and I don't think Acevedo was going to get a start anyway. He already saw him at last camp, right? So I can see why. Okay, Costa, if you want to make it to the World Cup, I need to see you. I already have my 2. There's one more. There's one spot, and you know, Acevedo's going to have, if he keeps going, he's going to have 3 World Cups, 2 World Cups, you know, at least. So I'm not like a crazy person that goes, I can see why Tata does it, but I would like Acevedo because he's you know, I want to see him in goal. You know, I want to see what he does, but he's not going to get any qualifiers time.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also, I think it's for the same reason, though. I think that's why you should bring him in because, okay, we're not saying he has to start in a World Cup qualifier, but like Adriana said, you know, for him to train with Talavera, with Ochoa, I think that'd really help his career. And I think with the assumption that you're going to have 2 veterans and then 1 young goalkeeper, I mean, maybe that's not what Tata's going to end up doing at the World Cup, but with the assumption that's what's going to happen, why not start to bring in Acevedo a bit more? But yeah, I think
who's in the pecking order of who I already worked with in my system and knows my style and what I want to do. I think Costa and I mean, regardless, you know, we could go against them. People are saying, you know, there's a 17-year-old goalkeeper in the US's camp, right? Y nosotros puro dinosaurio. I know we compare ourselves to the US. The US had to lose a World Cup and not miss a World Cup to get a bunch of youngsters to go in. Like, it was a generational, and they bet on the youngsters, and now a lot of them are in Europe. He's calling up everybody. Like, it's calling up, you know, well-deserved Pepe, who never had a World Cup qualifier or a game or a call-up, and he started the first game. Like, it's so to us, Tata's not going to do that. Tata's going to have that order, and maybe this is why Tata's being criticized, because we need that youngster. When we
sometimes they say like you need to call up who's like in the hot zone, you know, someone that's just like on fire at the time, and you're like, I don't care if previously they just didn't do as well. I mean, just think about players that really matured really late, like Oribe Peralta. I mean, he started off his career really, really old if you compare it to other players. But still, if you're on a hot streak and you're just doing really, really well, maybe, you should call him up. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Some coaches like that, I guess, they want to be more traditional and just go with what works. And try to stick with that. But then if you want to call up a player that's just doing really well, just take advantage of it. I mean, I think both positions are just equal. I mean, you could consider both. I mean, but I can understand Tata not wanting to take a risk, particularly now, because we just know that he's been criticized enough. So you just want to go with what works and be like, oh, if I'm criticized for something, it's not going to be because I tried something really crazy. It's just because, hey, these are the best players we've got, and look how they did.
Yeah. Everybody's just so hungry for new players sometimes, and it feels like you bring in new players in that system that Tata wants them to do, and they don't know that system. There's a balance there, right? Either, you know, somebody's asking, when are we going to flip the page on the generation and start new one with a few vets, but a good amount of young guns that are up for the test? Jay Carrasco saying it. It's true. Everybody kind of wants that, but at the same time, if they're not cutting it with how, you know, what Tata's seeing, then what's going on now? Tata's not getting the results. So when we're looking at the convocatoria, bringing it up once again right here and block all of our faces, right? Defense, Julian Araujo, Néstor Araujo, Arteaga, Domínguez, Gallardo, Montes, Moreno, Rodríguez, Chaca Rodríguez, everybody's favorites, and Rodríguez from León, Sánchez, Jorge Sánchez, and Joan Vázquez. Here was a big surprise, I think, with Julian Araujo. and Arteaga. We kept talking about. I think everybody wanted them, right? But was Adriana, to you, was John De Luisa the national team to Tata saying you have to call these guys? I don't to Berrinche. Why didn't do it? Like I said, we need these guys because we're getting killed on everywhere and we're not getting those results. Was it kind of an ultimatum? Because I feel like all of a sudden we lost against the US and against Canada. Okay, Arteaga's ready to go. Whatever he did, he's good now. I think something happened. I think they had a meeting.
I mean, we've heard about all these reports saying that actually just was like setting things straight after the games against Canada and the US, saying he was pretty close to resigning or just saying I'm done. I do think they're just trying to cover all their bases and make sure that they have everyone they can available because of COVID, because of injuries. I mean, we'll talk about it in a sec, but we had like a couple of scares last weekend, and I was thinking, oh my God, Tata is probably having a heart attack at this point, right? They struggled enormously with all the players that were out due to different circumstances against Canada and the US. I mean, we're talking about everything that went on defense, how much we missed Montes, for instance. So I'm guessing it was just like, dude, just bring them over. You don't have to start them if you really don't feel comfortable, if you're not really trusting how they're playing, but just have them there in case you actually need them. Because, for instance, I mean, I don't think Raul Jimenez is going to play the first game. Reports are saying that he's not going to be available, that he's injured. That you have Chucky, who is suspended because of yellow cards. So then you're struggling already because obviously those are two starting players. So you already have to do some adjustments to whatever your ideal starting lineup is. And then if you're looking back on defense, if it turns out someone has COVID or someone is injured or someone gets another suspension for the first game and won't be available for the second one, I think you have to start thinking about that and just thinking about, I don't know, players being tired as well. I mean, we've talked about this. It's not the same thing having a FIFA friendly when you have like two games per FIFA date, and now you have 3. So then I'm guessing that, they're just like covering their bases and making sure that if they do need to make changes, they have players that are available.
Yeah, and it's pretty obvious too that when we're looking at the fullback positions where Arteaga and Araujo are part of this setup. You know, when you're looking at, Jorge Sanchez, when you're looking at Xhaka, when you're looking at Gallardo, maybe not Osvaldo Rodriguez, but these players, for club and country, they haven't been at their best. These are players that, they aren't playing at the level that we want them to. So that's why you bring in an Araujo. That's why you bring in Arteaga. And I think that, as I've mentioned beforehand, I think Araujo, I thought, was the most impressive player from L3 in that December friendly. And I think because of that, why not, immediately bring him in the system? I'm not saying that he has to be starting all 3 matches, but I do hope that he has at least given one start because I was very impressed with him. And I'm not entirely sure if I would really rather have Jorge Sanchez or Xhaka starting over him.
But I go back to last year, we don't want Xhaka, we don't want Gallardo. Jorge Sanchez comes in, we're like, hey, he did great. Cool, there's the answer. And now we don't want Jorge Sanchez. Now, okay, Julian Araujo. I feel like who's ever in the hot moment, we're just like anybody but, because we've seen everybody kind of mess up because we're not getting those results. Who will be your top, your starting 4 for Wednesday? Let's talk defense for both of you, Adriana and Cesar.
Oh, that's a good question.
Johan's definitely going to be in Montes.
I think we want to see Araujo, I'm pretty sure. So, I think Montes has to be. I think we missed him too much, to be honest. Yeah. I'm looking at him.
Are we thinking?
Okay, I'm thinking it's probably going to be Montes and Moreno. Yeah, I'm guessing. Yep. And then you could have Araujo playing on the side, right?
I mean, I know people are like, let's get rid of him. Moreno's still a good defender, and he's playing.
He's great in the air.
Yeah.
He's a good player. I know that he's older, but for the guys can. I think there's nobody better than him at that position.
I wouldn't be surprised if he scores a goal off a set piece before the World Cup qualifiers are over. Every now and then he does that. He's physical in the air. Yeah. He's a really great header. So I wouldn't be surprised. And the thing is, he has a lot of leadership. He's great with his distribution, great in the air. Is he lacking some pace? Yes. And I think that's what we worry about him. But yeah. No, I agree with Adriana. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Montes who has a little bit more mobility, and then you have Moreno back there, but also maybe Montes and Johan Vasquez. That wouldn't be bad either.
That wouldn't be bad either. I guess I guess you could probably use some for like the first game, and then a couple others for the second game, and maybe someone else for the third one, just depending on how everything goes, right? Yeah, you could probably play Gallardo on the left, and then I guess it could be Chaka on the right.
I think that is. I don't think Julian. I don't think Arteaga is going to get right in the first start right away.
No, I don't think so either.
As much as we'd want, and he's playing, he's going to be a sub, or he's going to play the last game where Panama, if off 6 points, like it's going to be very decisive. Everybody wants to see what Eric's putting in right there. Julian Araujo, Cesar Montes, Joan Vasquez, and Gerardo Arteaga. They're very young, very explosive, but again. Qualifiers are different. You're going to be traveling. Gerardo Arteaga, what has he done with the national team? Julian Araujo only has one start. Like, this is a very inexperienced.
Yeah, you could just bring it on like as a sub, right? For just like some minutes. Yeah. Like maybe for one of the home games, not even against Jamaica, maybe for probably one of the home games.
And I understand that people don't want Gallardo or Chaka. Right?
I don't mind them. I'd rather have them. There's something with Jorge Sanchez, which I'm not entirely convinced. I know he's usually starting, like he's usually in the starting lineup. But
who's defending Alfonso Davies in that Canada game?
Oof, I don't remember.
Was it Jorge Sanchez?
I think it was Jorge Sanchez. Yeah,
and he did well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody wants is there's going to be a mix, and that's what's going to hurt. I think Moreno Montes, and one of those maybe. I just don't see Julian. Or it would be really rare. I mean, that they both, surprisingly, both start without any, World Cup qualifying experience. Boom, put them in.
Yeah, and I think either way, with 3 games is such a short amount of time. Like, I don't think that's going to go with his best starting 11. This Thursday. I don't think he's. I mean,
we can't.
We can't because we'll see.
We can't
because Raul Jimenez obviously. I mean, we'll see about Raul Jimenez's situation, but maybe he'll be healthy enough. It doesn't look like, and then obviously Chucky won't be available. But I think if I was thought that, I'd be doing a little bit of mixture for these 3 games. So I don't think there's ever going to be his ideal setup. I think you're going to have a little bit of mixture between them.
I'm just. If he really isn't happy with Chaka and Gallardo, which it takes a lot.
He could be.
Hey, he gives Gallardo a lot of minutes. He does. And
it's not bad. I just feel like everyone's just going against Chaka. I get it. But I think those guys will be subbed in. I think one of those guys are going to start. Moreno Montes, Johan. I'm surprised Angulo didn't make it.
It's like Fernando Navarro. It's just one of those players that you're really expecting to be called up sometime soon. And
he was raving about him in, right before that U.S. game. I heard through the camp that he really liked Angulo.
I think it's tough with some of those Atlas. Well, I know he's no longer at Atlas anymore, but I think it's tough for those players who had a really busy winter, who went deep into December with some of these games. Especially with him, he's still adjusting to Tigres. So I think that's a little tough for some of these players who, I don't know, maybe even if I was Angulo, maybe I would be like, hey, thought they'd give me a break. I'm at a new team. I had a really busy December.
No. Don't take a break from the national team. You could. There wasn't anybody that I wanted to be there. I cannot believe this is one of the first call-ups that I'm like.
What about Marcelo Flores? Are you where do you land on that?
No, I don't think he should be getting this. Not for these national teams. The only reason why I think he should be called up is if we need a cap time and if Canada's like, we're going to call him up in the next one. Right. So I don't necessarily, I would like to see him, but he's not going to get any playing time. We're not going to be up 4-0 to bring in a 18-year-old youngster. As much as I would like to see him.
We're terrible at bringing younger players and just
it'll come. So,
I agree. I just wanted to see if you would say something have some
Diego Barbosa, for example.
That's a good question.
The Atlas players that did well, that beat my team, that it's.
I think that's another good shout too. But I do also wonder if that's also someone who had a little bit of a busy winter. And I don't know, maybe if he continues his form, maybe you try to bring him into the March qualifiers. Yeah. But it is a good point. I think people could make the argument that Barbosa should be a part of this setup, especially if it includes up to 30 players. But no, I think that's a decent shot, though.
Again, who do you take out? Aside from Gallardo and Chaka, I get it. These are players that know his system, that have been playing.
It's kind of sad though, right? Because you're missing out on players like for an entire year. I mean, like they're players that are in a really good spot right now, and we know they're not going to call them up. They're not going to risk that. I don't think they will, because they've never done that. So it's kind of sad, because it means that you're going to have to wait for this World Cup process to end for you to actually start seeing players that are doing pretty well right now, and they just might not be next year. So you kind of missed out on the opportunity. Because I'm sure we're going to have tons of friendlies like next semester right after the qualifiers. But you're not going to call them up either. I mean,
there'd be no reason.
There will be no reason. No, you're preparing for the World Cup. How could you? So it's kind of sad though.
Martin 3578. The whole point is to put inexperienced players in, so later they get the hang of just look at Canada and USA.
They should. I mean, I wish they did.
True.
I mean, I think we all
would
like.
That's what those friendlies are for. It was all inexperienced players.
Yeah, but
right, and out of those inexperienced players came some players.
You're supposed to like combine them like equally, so they would all benefit like from the youth and the experience. And they were like, no, just bring all the youths. I'll just have all the younger players play in December against.
And then again, with this comment, Martin, look at what happened with the U.S. in Panama. Look at what happened with which they put those inexperienced players and they lost. Like, you can't just expect to be like we're gonna go to somebody's house and win on talent alone, or because you're youngsters. You have to have that. But again, I totally get the argument that our experienced players aren't getting the job done.
Yeah. And the other thing too is we've talked about it. It's like it would be easy and it'd be nice if it was just, this player is really good, bring him into the system. It's not that easy. There's a dynamic here. There's a group. Let's say, even if it's bringing back a Chicharito, or even just bringing back a Vela, like what would that mean for the dynamic of the group? What would that mean? Because all we see what's happening is just what's on the field. We don't see what's happening off the field. And it has to be very well balanced, especially leading up through these World Cup qualifiers and in the World Cup itself. So it'd be easy if it was just like, that guy's great, bring him in. But that's not how it works. It'd be a very, being the head coach of a national team would be a very, very easy job if it was literally just choosing the best players. But I think there's clearly much more to it than just that.
It's the best players for your system. I mean, it comes down to it. I mean, that's all right. Continuing with the midfield: Edson Álvarez, Andrés Guardado, Eric Gutiérrez, Héctor Herrera, Diego Lainez, Orbelín Pilena, Charlie Rodriguez, Luis Romo. A midfield that I don't know why. I don't know why Antuna's there. Like, that's one person that I was surprised. That I thought maybe could have taken out, but
they put him like on on strikers. I don't know. It's one of those players that could just go either way, and sometimes you see them like midfield and sometimes
off the bench
strikers.
Again, his speed. He has that. He's got more goals than a lot of the forwards at the goals.
Off the bench, that's a really good option right there. I'm not too bothered by it,
especially with the system. I completely agree. But for me, I'm just like, okay, let's be done with Antuna. Eric Gutiérrez. A player that has been killing it, in PSB, and every week playing 90 minutes, doing great. Wasn't called up before, now is called up. Tata has seen him, so I'm excited to see Eric Gutiérrez. I know many people say Guardado's out. I've seen Guardado every weekend, and he's still playing well. Played 90 minutes in a very important match about a week ago.
It's difficult to argue against Guardado because you see him just thriving as a captain for a top La Liga team. And when you have someone with his experience, and you have someone that, is, the captain of all three, you can't overlook him at this point. Yeah. He's still playing at a pretty high level. I know sometimes we're a little disappointed with how he plays for the national team, but you just can't, you can't not bring him in. I think he's still a very, very impressive player. But yeah, I think you continue bringing him in. And same thing with Ache. I thought Ache was pretty good with that Letty.
I think we were all surprised. I mean, we would have thought that just because of like really low playing minutes, something would have affected him. But no, I think he's pretty good still. I mean, I'm happy about that. I wish he was just playing a little bit more.
I think we sometimes it sounds like a really stupid thing I'm about to say here, but like, I feel like we sometimes forget how good Ache is. Like, we're like,
kind of like overlook it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Or I feel like a lot of fans are completely over him, thinking like, when is Charlie Rodriguez going to step up and be, and actually Charlie Rodriguez is playing pretty well. So maybe he'll be getting more minutes soon over Ache. But like, when I was watching the highlights from that Letty game, I was like, oh man, like this is like, why aren't we talking about Ache more? Why do we feel like we're trying to move on past this player? I know
he's not like the sub of the sub of the sub. So
exactly, yeah, he is the sub of the sub of the sub. and he's on the wrong side of 30, but he's still a fantastic
There
player.
is not a midfielder that's better than Achachi on the national team. There isn't. Flat out. Talent where
Oh,
they're
maybe
at.
Edson.
Outside of Edson. Edson is the only one move that there's no way that he should be.
I think if there's
starting.
two players that have like a starting position for any game in the national team, it's Ochoa and Edson.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, flat out.
Yeah, I want Edson to start all 3 games.
Edson. Yeah, there's nobody else. I mean, that's why I didn't say that. But Edson and Ache are a must start.
Yeah.
It's just in that midfield, and I get people want to see somebody else, but the talent that guy has now.
I would say Charlie Rodriguez is in a great run of form, though. Like, he's on a great start this season. So he's looking fantastic. He's looking great.
Charlie Rodriguez looked flat with the national team in Tata before.
No, but thing is, but I'm saying right now, because he's heading into this international window in a good run of form. I think we could say whatever we wanted. What's happened in 2021
outside? He has scored. Really quick questions, and I'm answering these questions. It might be a little out of order. Do you think Martino has already settled his 23 players? I think there is like 18 out of the 23 that's he already knows he's taking.
Yeah, I agree. I think he has around like 16 or so.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Flat out, he already knows these, and I mean we can probably name them and maybe do a little bit more on another show. Exactly. There's like one forward that might come in, one midfield, 2 midfields, 2 defense, but yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see.
I'm guessing he's also like
next qualifiers.
Yeah, I think maybe left back, right back positions might be just a bit. I mean, I think he knows who he wants as a starting position. Maybe just not set him like which who could be the sub for those players or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think he's got pretty much most of the team covered. It's just the subs maybe, or maybe some combination. Like I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe Marcelo Flores. No, I'm just kidding.
Who's not a lock for the 23 in Qatar?
Lainez?
I would say, yeah. We talked about Chaka and Gallardo, and this is, but I think
Gallardo is set. I'd say Chaka is maybe a so-so.
Yeah,
it's 50-50 right now.
I
think Lainez could be a 50-50.
He really likes Funes Mori, but there's Christian Jimenez that's just like knocking, right? And there's only one. You have to have somebody else that will back up Raul in that sense, and it's Funes Mori or
Chaquito.
I mean, hey, you know what? Henry Martin. We'll see if he has a good season or two. I'm not saying that I would take him to Qatar, and obviously Mexico still has to qualify for Qatar. But
you can't have 3 number 9s. You know,
Vega is probably just maybe depending, probably competing against Henry.
Yeah.
I see Vega more on you're gonna have a backup for Raul and maybe one more backup in that type of player like that. So it's Raul, and these are the 3: Jimenez, Henry Martin, Christian Jimenez, and then
Santi Jimenez. Yeah.
Santi Jimenez.
Chaco would be cool.
Bring it back.
Those 4. So that's that number 9 position that is fighting. It's not. Then you have the other forwards, right? You have Chucky, you have which are not. That's where Antuna
and 3 strikers. I mean, we know it's Tecatito, Chucky, and Raul, right? That's you want that.
And you have their backups of who's going to make it, right? So you have So
it's
I don't
see. I think for those backups,
Orbelin will be fine, but I think he's in too.
Maybe
continuing now with the forwards. Yeah, so I don't. So what's your 3 that start? Edson,
we'll see.
Rivera.
Well, we'll see who's. You're saying
midfield?
Mind
having 4 midfielders, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't think he goes away from the 4. He's got to stick with the 3, right?
I know. I wish he would stick with 4.
Well, Raul's not playing, right? I think it's going to depend. I think it might surprise us with a 4-4-2, but let's stick with the 3-3. With the 4-3-3.
If it were 3, you have Edson. Yeah,
for sure.
Like defensive
for me, is Herrera.
Definitely.
I think you go with the regulars. I think you do. Yeah, Edson, Ache.
Yeah,
and Guardado.
Guardado, yeah, that's probably it.
And we're back at what happened.
That's what we've been criticizing.
And that's what it's so hard because I saw Eric Gutierrez come in and I go, yes, get him in. He's in form, but he's not going to.
He'll get opportunities. But the thing is, here's the thing:
he's going to take Herrera's spot at the start of 11. He's not going to, so it's like, okay, do we pick Charlie or Eddie Gutierrez as a first sub in the midfield if they're not cutting it?
I think Charlie.
I'd say Charlie for some reason. Yeah.
Right.
At the
very least,
I would give it to Charlie. As much as Eddie Gutierrez is there, it's everyone just puts in these youngsters, but who are they going to take out? Because it's not like the other players aren't playing well. This is one of the convocatorias. When I saw the list, almost everybody in Europe was having a good weekend before they get called up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they really are either scoring or playing full 90 or having an amazing games, important games. So I'm like, if they're coming in with rhythm, which in other games they weren't, there was COVID, there was absences, there was not playing like this convocatoria. I saw almost everybody except for the injuries, and then now coming in, they're having those games. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting. I think so. It's Guardado, Herrera, Edson. I mean, and as soon as they're not keeping up to the paces of the Jamaicans, Guti, Charlie. First subs
or Romo
coming in.
Romo too. We can't forget Romo either.
Decent.
Yeah, Romo obviously, yes, he could do a lot
then
of work.
Why aren't we doing well in these qualifiers? We have good play.
Well, it's because we came off a really tough November. Like we've talked. Like I think
it was. We talked about this. Yeah,
it's like
of course.
Goalkeeper has a good choice. Yeah,
I think so.
Troy's not going anywhere. He's going to have another World Cup, and he's going to do amazing in the World Cups. That's what happens.
Maybe even another World Cup after that too. Who knows?
All right, forwards. Going back to our cool. So we look at
disregarding the fact that we don't have Raul or Chucky.
Yes,
and Tecatito is being evaluated right now.
Yeah, Uriel Antuna, Jesus Corona, Funes Mori, Raúl Jiménez, Chucky Lozano, Henry Martin, and Alexis Vega.
Also, did you say Orbelin? I think we got to toss Orbelin in there because I think after Chucky, I would start Orbelin as a left wing. Yeah,
he's just one of those players.
For me, so obviously, if everybody was healthy and they could play, I know people have seen the El Tridente, el Tri, those Chucky, Tecatito, and Raúl Jiménez. But Chucky can't play because of yellow cards. Raúl Jiménez, it looks like he's not going to be able to play. He has nursing a calf injury, which is not like he's not running because he's practicing, right? But then it's the Tecatito who had a great start against Sevilla.
Our three strikers aren't available. Could not be available.
So
yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
hopefully that must be like, I don't know, like have to go like to a Meca or something and just like have like a spiritual cleanse or something because this is really bad luck.
The thing is that it was after the call-ups too. So like
yeah,
because Tecatito. His injury was during the Sevilla game. I mean, we'll see how serious it is. But like when they cut to him when he was subbed out, you can tell like he was having some like muscle issues on one of his legs.
Yeah. So I mean, so
maybe just not risk him.
Those three aren't.
Well, we'll see. Well, maybe fingers crossed with Jimenez. Maybe Tecatito. But if we're saying who'd we play if Tecatito,
I wouldn't risk them against Jamaica, to be honest. That's a tough like away game, tough like really physical. I'd rather wait, to be honest, and not lose them for the other two games.
Mm-hmm. I would. I'm with you on that one. If it was up to me, because of the physical type of, I would put Funes Mori, just that physical, tall, looking at number 9, and then on the other side, somebody that can do Córdoba and Orbelin.
Córdoba wasn't
not on there.
I mean, sorry,
he's not. Yeah, wasn't caught up
in. Sorry.
Yeah,
I would say
right here.
I was saying they're saying on the chat, like he fell off the national team.
Sorry. I was reading the chat.
Yeah,
falling off the hardest of the national team. Yes, Córdoba. Sorry. Alexis Vega.
Yeah, no, he's in a great run.
Alexis Vega was doing great until he got injured with the national team.
I think for me. Olympics? For me, you put Funes Mori up top. I think on the right, you put Antuna. On the left, though, I think that's the tough decision. Orbelin. I don't know. Yeah, is it Orbelin or is it Vega? I would lean towards Orbelin just because I feel like.
I think Vega's more like a 9, like a striker, like Funes Mori.
You wouldn't you wouldn't put Vega and Orbelin and Funes Mori up 3.
I guess you'd be asking. I think they're both pretty like. I think Vega is, he could be a 9, but when he's on the wing, I think he's better on the left. And I think that's the same with Orbelin. I feel like when he is on the wing and cuts inside, I feel like he's better on the left too. So I think I've
seen Orbelin. Yeah,
it's one or the other. Yeah.
I would Yeah, I mean, if those
It could
three
be
aren't gone,
Vega,
so
Funes Mori, and Antuna, I guess.
Yeah, you could do that too. Yeah.
yeah, I just don't want to see Antuna for some reason.
He's not a bad player. He brings a lot of mobility, brings a lot of pace. Yeah.
So
I'd
those
like to
are
see Henry at some point. Yeah.
those are the players that were called up. The players have started training there at CAR. I think everybody's there now, right?
I think the last
waiting for anybody
else.
I
read, the only player who I think the last player who's going to be showing up is Arteaga, who left Europe earlier this morning. But obviously, based off of social media, it's clear that the team has been training, and no COVID cases just yet. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, and
that
COVID's going to be very important, right?
Yeah.
There's the players that are coming that are flying from other parts of the world, as we've seen in these national teams. You've seen Johan Vasquez. There's a lot of COVID protocols that are happening right now, and it's taking a lot of the national teams that are traveling. So it'll be interesting to see.
Guido Rodriguez tested positive, so I'd be like on the lookout for Guardado and Lainez in case they actually travel together or something.
Yeah, Guido Rodriguez tested positive today. You're going to start seeing, but somebody that we didn't mention, although we talked a little about it, is Diego Lainez, who everybody wants to see.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have opportunity for minutes. I mean, with these, if Tecatito is unavailable,
would you put him on that starting spot?
No.
We talk about
off the bench.
Now we talk about Orbelin. We're talking about
that could be the bench and a home game.
Yeah,
I wouldn't play him against Jamaica. I think he's not. I don't. Yeah, no. I think you need physically stronger players.
Yeah, agreed.
Against Jamaica. Yeah.
Awesome. Intensity is something we've seen that we've heard already from Tata, and coming up these games against Jamaica, when we talk about the players and that we saw what happened against Canada, against the US, after every one of those matches that we didn't do well, Tata's coming out and saying we lack intensity. What needs to happen?
I think they lack mentality.
It's coming from Tata. La intensidad. Right? That we have it from one week, and I think he said that, we had the US, we had the Canada game for the first half, and then we come out. But doesn't that go to Tata? And the problem is Tata. Cesar, what do we need to do?
I think luckily they'll be going up against the Jamaica side that seem to be having some similar issues right now. This will be their first game for their new interim coach. Yeah, there's a lot of talent in this Jamaican side, but it's clear they haven't had enough time to make to build some chemistry together, some cohesion. I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Mikel Antonio scores a great goal from distance and makes things tough for all three. But yeah, I think there is something there lacking intensity for all three. But I would say this is even more of a problem for Jamaica. And yeah, you see gradual progress. They haven't lost their last 4 qualifiers, but I mean they only have 1 win so far. So I think that is an issue for all three, but I think it's even more of an issue for Jamaica. And it's going to be played behind closed doors too.
All 3 of them are, which really sucks, to be honest. I mean, on the other hand, I was actually thinking it could benefit the team, because if they start playing poorly over here, the crowd could just turn on them.
I definitely see that as a good thing. I definitely see it as a good thing.
So right now it's probably a good thing, which really sucks when you're looking into it's a World Cup qualifier. It's you're just a couple months away from actually knowing if you're going to make it to the World Cup, and you're not playing with your fans. I think it's I think we talked about this. I also think there's sort of a lack of leadership, a really strong leadership role. I know you have Guardado, I know you have Ochoa, but it just doesn't seem as though they have that really. You have Moreno as well, but I just don't see them as a really strong type leadership position, the type of player I don't know, like Cuauhtemoc or like Rafa, who could really tell on players and be really mad about them and just make them react. I think it's just you need one of those really really strong mentality players on the field, and I don't think we have that in anybody probably. It's just leadership. It's not the type of leadership I think you need sometimes to kind of react against the CONCACAF rival.
I don't know. I feel like Guardado is the person that's the leader. I mean,
but I think Adrian does have a point.
Whatever. You're not gonna have the Cuauhtemoc, the Zlatan leadership that's gonna everyone's trembling.
But you need it, because we're not too strong mentally. To be honest, we're really terrible at that.
Everyone talks about Rafa's leadership. Rafa got us in really bad spots in many different.
But I think that's kind of like the part of there are pros and cons to players like that, which we saw from Blanco too. I think players like that are able to make something out of nothing and are able to really carry the team. But also these kind of players tend to be risk takers as well, and sometimes they get caught in some not so good situations. And
like arguing with the ref, you need those like really strong players to make their like position stand. And I don't think
Chucky argues with the ref every time. Arguing,
but you need to like argue, not like fight with the referee.
It's true. It's true. I think that's Guardado. I think that's Moreno. I think it brings experience. I think they bring great. Back to Cuauhtemoc, who put his team. Huh?
I think Guardado and Moreno, I think they're good leaders, but I do think that there is like Adrian said, like I want them to be a little bit more risk taking, to be able to like kind of like take those chances. And I think there's something great about Guardado and Moreno being the reliable figures that they are, but well, maybe not in recent years. I think that's debated for some L3 fans, but I don't know. I like Adrian said, it would be nice to see another Blanco or Rafa. But then again, maybe we won't ever see another Rafa, another Blanco.
Yeah, I don't think we will. It's been 10 years since. 12 years. Rafa 2014, 2015, and
I think that's an Alvarez. I think maybe
you need
give him some time.
Like a canchero, like someone that's.
There's Funes Mori. Like, who else?
I don't think he does that.
I think give Edson Alvarez some time.
Maybe Edson, maybe Edson
for a long
step up to the role.
It's like look at the '94, look at the '98 team, look at the 2002 team. Those were leaders. They put their
they were.
We just
I think that's like a
talent. I'm not saying they didn't have any talent, but I get it. But it's a different game.
I think players are just in general are just different now too.
It's true.
Like
they're gonna have that.
Like it was interesting once. Like I think like when Salcido said that he retired. In my mind, I was like, okay, that's kind of like the last of a certain type of like Mexican player where he found his way like into. I think it was like Chivas' setup when he was like 18 or 19 or something along those lines, and he was like watching from the stands, and he was like washing cars like before that, and they like asked him on the field, and Tom wrote a great article about that. But I feel like you don't really have players like that anymore, for better or worse, obviously. And now just the mentality and the kind of type of players are very different now. Like we wouldn't discover some scrappy teen who's like 18 or 19 and then suddenly plays for Chivas. That's just not what's going to happen now with modern soccer. So I think sometimes it is tough when we're comparing the current players to older players, because I think just in general, world soccer, it's just players have definitely changed and modernized in different ways.
Yeah, it's although I think Orbelín Pineda comes from like a very, very small little town, but he was he was a part of he was part of the youth academy system and like Querétaro. I mean, you're looking for the goal movie narrative.
The closest we get is probably someone from like Alianza, like one of the like those Alianza like camps. That's probably the players.
We'll see. I insist we need someone with a stronger mentality for some reason. It's just something we've never been able to just succeed at as a national team. So when you have that player that does kind of wake up everybody and is willing to take on like those risks, like Cesar said, I think that's kind of what we need. We need someone to just wake up and be able to talk really strongly to the squad, like during halftime, and just bring those teams together. I don't doubt that. Do you guys see that? I could do it, but I just don't think it's strong.
Do you see that in other national teams in CONCACAF? I don't. Who's the big, strong captain in the U.S.?
It's tough because we aren't nearly as tuned into those national teams as we are to L3.
But so I see like Brian Reese from Costa Rica being that team, but he's super old. I think
I can see Landon do it like for the U.S. Like definitely, it's like that strong, like outspoken player.
Landon. Yeah, which is again 12 years ago.
Yeah. Maybe like Bradley.
Hey, he was playing for Leon.
I think Keylor Nava speaks and everyone listens. It's true.
Yeah, that could be true.
Yeah.
St. Tyler Adams speaks and everyone listens. Nicholas Murray. Well, there you go, giving us right. So, the only player with that mentality is Julian Araujo. He plays with passion. Oh. Very first one takes me weird.
You're like, guys, I'm new here, but
I'm here.
Listen up.
He's a big guy. I didn't know how big Julian Araujo.
You guys don't know me, Julian.
I also go by Julian.
I didn't think he was that, he's like a big guy. I didn't think he was that like big. I don't know why. Like in his pictures, he doesn't seem, but when I saw him, he was like, man, he's like,
how tall is he?
Buff.
5'10". That's tall for us. That's definitely tall for us. 5'10".
How tall is he?
5'10" according to Wikipedia.
That's it. I don't know why, but he came out. I'm like, wow.
Hey man,
I'm 5'8".
If I was 5'10", I'd be like towering over all of my family. So
wait, I have to like Google it, like feet to centimeters.
All I know is that when people say 2 metros, it's really tall. So we
that's really
no, he's not like, I guess he's not super tall. I just thought that when I thought he was just like maybe I didn't expect how big he was. We need someone outspoken like Neri Castillo.
that was like, that's too much.
Don't bring my 2007. I was actually going through a bunch of pictures of all of us, and I saw my Neri Castillo. I got to beat him and whatever. It's fun. All right, really quick. So here is the schedule for the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. January 27th starts out with Jamaica and Mexico. The first game, 30 minutes. United States, El Salvador, Honduras, Canada, Costa Rica, Panama. And I would really like to hear outside of Mexico and Jamaica. We'll talk about predictions, but. Big games. United States, El Salvador at home, having El Salvador, who started off with a fun team, but looks like there's really nobody outside of the starting 11. I don't see any, them giving United States problems. Honduras, the worst team in World Cup qualifying, and Costa Rica and Panama, who have had important games. Costa Rica being at home, needing this win. But to you guys, any big surprises in this one?
I'm curious to see how Panama do. It's impressive to see them level with Mexico 14 points, but we'll see where they're at after facing Costa Rica away, after hosting Jamaica, and then taking on El Tri. Because maybe if they struggle, maybe if they have a couple issues in that first game and in the second game, maybe you'll have a little bit of a weekend, Panama taking on El Tri in that next Wednesday.
Everybody's been talking about that third game as being one of the hardest one because everyone's tired. Then people have to travel. Panama's got to travel back to Mexico. So,
or like say that they do well and they just continue to be on pace with the same amount of points as El Tri. Maybe that'd give them some extra motivation. And that game next Wednesday at the Azteca with only 2,000 fans because of the new the new fan behavior protocols. Maybe that would suddenly become a much more difficult game for El Tri against a Panama side that are much more motivated. So I'm curious to see how Panama do and if they continue their good run of form. Because with 14 points, that's I don't know, it's definitely decent.
Canada travels to Honduras. As much as Canada is the number one team, Canada has not gotten a win outside of Canada. So,
which we're so happy for.
At least I am. Let's hear the standings. Canada 16 points. I'm sorry. United States 15. Mexico and Panama tied at 14. Costa Rica 9-7 with Jamaica 6-3. These are the teams that Costa Rica, Jamaica, and El Salvador and Honduras. I think Honduras can still make it. You get 9 points and you're already at 13.
No, they can't.
I think mathematically,
they could. Yeah. But
yes, I'm just saying it's still. I think after
that
this
would be
window,
the best CONCACAF story ever. If they actually did that, if they actually got fourth place and went to the Intercontinental Playoffs, that would be such an amazing story.
Yeah. The just to remind you guys is that this window can finally mathematically eliminate teams.
Someone?
And I don't.
Yeah, it all depends on how it goes because the number that people were throwing around was 21 might be the minimum. I think it might need to be higher than that because of how top heavy things are now looking with the top four. So if that continues, and maybe you'll need a team that needs more than 21 points. But it seems like in general. Obviously I haven't crunched numbers like myself just yet, but everyone keeps saying that 21 is potentially the minimum for the top four. So that's something to keep on. Maybe you might see some teams reaching that.
What I was saying on the other side is that I think for sure this window, someone gets eliminated from the World Cup for sure. Like, so after this 3 games,
probably,
Honduras, Costa Rica, Jamaica, that are looking for those spots are gonna want. So it's gonna be an intense game. If this is it. This is the coach saying we have to win 1 game at a time. These next 3 games, if it's El Salvador. So El Salvador is going to want to get some type of result at home. I mean, against the U.S. It's not any more of this as long as you tie, which could do good for El Salvador, or it can open up and they're going 2-2 to United States and, 3 goals in, 4 goals in because they're not holding back. Are they going to want to get 1 point? But I think to Mexico, right? Mexico playing against Jamaica, Jamaica's going to want to win that home game. They dropped some points against the U.S., so it'd be interesting to see. And then, Panama and Costa Rica. Costa Rica, if it takes away from Panama, Mexico gets 3 points. Canada away in Honduras. It's still a tough place to play. Regardless, the U.S. couldn't get a point there. Mexico was able to get a point there, 3 points there. So, but these, if you're a betting person, and especially with those places where you can bet, be careful with your bets because anything can happen with in this window, as you've seen in others. Nothing's gone like the underdog. I mean, the favorite has won every single time. So.
Also, don't bet on soccer. You need one mistake from one player, and then there goes your bet. As opposed to other sports where things can even out, and like basketball, there's enough opportunities and shots there. I feel
betting in soccer is hard because of the tie.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's the U.S. is going to win. Anybody could tie in this. Mexico tie in Jamaica? Yeah, easily.
Yeah, they
right.
could.
I would say U.S. is the only one that's favorite. Like, I don't think they're going to drop any points against El Salvador.
Yeah,
but
I think Mexico's good. Yeah,
Panama.
Maybe. Yeah,
My bad.
I don't know.
Yes, Nicola saying that Honduras beat. Yeah, Honduras. So that's right. Honduras beat the U.S. I mean, the U.S. beat Honduras away, and so did Mexico, right? Mexico beat Honduras away or at home. Now I'm getting it.
Now you're confusing me.
Mexico was at home. It was
My bad,
home.
Guys. It was last year that we try to forget the horrible year of 2021 with Mexican soccer. Outside, just really quick, kind of just to end, we have the next games that we have on January 30th, which is on Sunday. The big game, the new Clásico of CONCACAF, apparently, the Ice Clásico, that's going to happen in Canada versus the United States. Mexico contra Costa Rica at home. Panama, Jamaica, Honduras, El Salvador. Yep. No Alfonso Davis for the Canada match. But again, the United States traveling in the cold. And this is probably the biggest game right now to see in this window, just to see what happens. Cesar and I already said we wanted ties in that game. But Adriana, what happens in that game? Canada, US.
I mean, as a fan, I want them to tie because that's what we need the most. But I wouldn't be too disappointed if Canada kept on winning. To be honest, that would be pretty interesting.
It's a hard one, right? Like,
that's
definitely a tough one. Yeah,
obviously you want Mexico to do well, and that also means that you want whoever's on top of them to lose points. So you want Canada them to tie, but Canada beating the U.S. would be pretty awesome as well.
There's a part of me that still kind of likes the Canadian national team, and
that's why I actually like them.
We don't like the Canadian national team. I respect I really like the Canadian national team. It's the fans that all of a sudden are like, are like, Raul scores a goal, and then like there's a Canadian fan. Where were you against Canada under it? Like. Like all of a sudden, Canadian fans like out of nowhere. And
in general, just never read the comments on any tweet or any post.
It's hilarious.
It just doesn't matter.
Like,
we do the same. Come on, as if we don't do the same thing. Mexico fans do.
We don't go to Pulisic.
Oh, what? Yeah. Come on.
In his goal on the Chelsea, we go, where were you against Mexico? No. There's
definitely Mexico fans.
We don't create like.
We specifically right here. No, and of course our wonderful, beautiful listeners. Our wonderful, beautiful listeners don't either. But other Mexico fans, yeah, they do, man. They definitely do.
But then they don't. I'm just saying, like, they tag us. It's like where's Lainez right now? Anyways, it's fun. It's great. We are a little conflicted. I'm like, do we want the U.S.? I think this is the first time that I wouldn't be like that upset if the U.S. beat Canada, but because losing at home. But at the same time,
if you look at the games individually, we know what we would like to see as fans. But then when you start like getting your calculator out and starting doing like, well, we actually need this because if we tie against Jamaica, then we're going to be 4 points away. And you start doing all that math. That's when you're like, no, have them just draw. And then Mexico has a chance of actually just being number one again and having it easy and just not suffering as much as we did last year.
Here comes Mexico easy. We just went to so here comes 2 games at home, and then Jamaica, which I was reading might have some missing players also. All right. In this window, how many points does Mexico get? Prediction time. Everybody that's on the comments right now, how many points does Mexico get? So, and I'll start reading them off, and we're putting them on right here.
7.
Mexico beats Jamaica. They draw against Costa Rica at the Azteca, and then they defeat Panama at the Azteca.
They draw.
Hey, Costa Rica, like, I feel like what has been talked about.
Those 2,000 fans that are going to make it to the Azteca are going to be so mad.
Well, I mean, we could say whatever we want about like Costa Rica's roster, like past Navas, but like Navas and Costa Rica have only allowed 7 goals in 8 games. That's the same as Mexico. I feel like they're doing all right.
Anybody that could beat Costa Rica all the time is Mexico, no matter like just they always have their number. Watch Costa Rica fans come through. And like, so. Look, I want 9. Of course, I want 9. Right.
Yeah, of course we all want 9. No one's like, boo, I want 0.
I want to suffer.
No. Yeah. Can we get 9? I think we got 9 the first window, right? Yes.
That was 9. That was
7. We got 7 points.
Because we had Canada over here with the first one, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember
anything.
That was September, and we tied that one.
So these are the 9. 3 you have. I think I want to say 9. I think it's 7. And
7's okay though. I'm okay with 7. I think 7's a minimum.
7. We need a win.
7's good. No, you wouldn't feel. I guess it depends. Obviously, it depends on how the game's going.
Who are we going to lose points to? It'd be different if it was like we had Canada in there or a US in there, and we're like, okay, they're going to get tired. If we're looking at the matchups, I know we don't want to say 9, but Jamaica, we cannot lose points. Like we have to have this is the team.
We could say the same thing in like the last World Cup qualifying, and the last one before that. Like there's always it's CONCACAF. It's just like there's always going to be some surprise. There's always going to be some sort of issue.
9 max. Well, obviously it's max. 7 minimum.
I'm aiming for 12.
I need 13. I need 13. It's just interesting to see who they're going to draw points, because if they draw points against Jamaica on the second game,
Costa Rica's been doing all right defensively. Costa Rica's been doing. Yeah. And Nick said in the chat, Andre Blake. You got to give credit to Andre Blake. Over at Jamaica, he's a fantastic goalkeeper for the Union, and then we can see Mikel Antonio can create something out of nothing for Jamaica as well.
0 points last time, so not that big.
I can't imagine the criticism if we don't win against Jamaica. That's gonna be like those.
That's why I think
Thursday to Sunday are gonna be so long. Are gonna be like, oh God.
Who does Mexico? Who does Mexico tie in your 7 points?
Yeah, Costa Rica could be just better choice. I don't know. I can't imagine you don't want to winning against Jamaica, because that's going to be like, again, the mental issues are going to be just too strong to deal with, to be honest. I'd rather have them, I guess, get that draw at home.
Because you don't want the madness, right?
No, because we've had the madness for way too long. Like ever since we had a draw against Canada.
The madness gives the clicks on websites. So you would think that we would want the madness, because that's what gets the clicks.
We want people to be mad and disappointed.
We need those 9.
And struggling.
We need those 9, and I feel I think Mexico could beat Jamaica. I think Mexico should beat Costa Rica at home and should beat. So
if we get the 9, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get the ticket before the qualifiers are over. You'll probably get it maybe against the US game, which would be really amazing if you actually had if you could get that World Cup ticket against the US.
Yeah.
And that's a home
right,
game, by the way. And you're supposed to have fans back for that game as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting too. That's really quickly that the next 2 games at home, they're going to be testing out the new fan measure system. There's going to be online ticket registration. Going forward, there's supposed to be more security at games. And there's going to be a 5-year ban for any fans that take part in the homophobic chant. So, like, it'll be interesting to see how this goes going forward for Old 3. I like the fact that they put in these measures. It feels way too late. Best case scenario, it works out for 2 games, and then they bring fans back in, and then they do it for just 2 more home games. And after that, Mexico's not going to need to do World Cup qualifying. So I don't know. So it feels like it's a little late, but that's another storyline to keep an eye on, is to see how this test goes through with them.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that would be embarrassing. Can you imagine that?
Because those 2,000 fans they're not real fans. They're like amigos and amigos, right?
Like,
yeah.
It's probably like people that got them through sponsors or something. So
yes,
that would be.
I don't know. We need to come up with another chant. We need something like really original and colorful. We need one of the sponsors to actually make like a competition and have someone win like a tremendous amount of money if they come up with the most original chant.
There you go.
Or something.
I'm like, give me some idea.
I'm voting for the foi to come back, like ever since 2011. It's been 10 years. People bring it back.
We didn't imagine getting 0 points last night. I did. I didn't have Mexico winning in those games. I really wanted to, but
I didn't think.
I didn't surprise me coming out with 0.
I thought there'd be at least 1 point. I wasn't thinking we'd get 2 wins.
I didn't think we'd win both, but I definitely didn't think we'd going to lose both either.
I bet against Mexico in those, and I won some money, dude.
True Mexico candidate.
Si se puede worked before. Not sure why isn't used it for. Yeah,
it's because it's usually used like when we're losing, because it's like trying to. So that's
we're going in there.
Want that. You don't want to be in that situation to begin with. So, but it's kind of like it feels like you're struggling. I don't know with the si se puede. You need something like stronger. I don't know. Not mocking the other team, because that's what's getting us into trouble, right? But but like si se puede, usually we're losing, and si se puede remontar, si se puede empatar. So no, we want to be stronger than that, I guess. I don't know. But it was a lot more popular.
Why don't we just do that more often? Like
I don't know.
All right. Thank you again for everybody that joined us on the chat. Lots of people. We'll see. The first game is on Wednesday. Then that's that long
Thursday.
4 days.
Thursday.
First game's on Thursday.
Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday.
Yeah. Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday. Saying hi to everybody really quick. I got this really cool, awesome Castore Wolves jersey, and I want to say thank you to Amy, who gave it to me for my birthday. And my birthday's in October. It took 3 months to get here. I got stuck in like the Netherlands because this actually came from England. So Amy's actually getting ready to leave to Spain. I made a joke that's not Emily in Paris. It's Amy in Paris, in Madrid. In Madrid. So she's gonna making a little vlog. But for all of us, be watching. If you don't follow her on Instagram or on Twitter, she's gonna go to Spain to watch some cool feminine games up there with some cool players. So watch her stuff, and I want to say thank you publicly, because this is an awesome birthday present, and she's a cool friend. So she was supposed to be on, so I can thank her through here, but she told us that she needed to get ready for her big trip in Spain. So Amy, good luck, and we wish you well. Don't forget about us. Don't stay over there. We need you to come back.
Or do stay. That sounds fascinating.
Yeah,
we'll take turns taking care of the kids, right? That's what we'll do. It's just like like one like in San Diego for like 1 month, and
bring them over
Mexico City.
Yeah, and then you could definitely have like a video like podcast thing going on and be like, this is Cesar's episode with the kids and see how it's treated.
Yes, have fun, Amy, and excited to see the cool things that you're doing with some pretty cool players. So yes. All right.
By the way, the national team launched their app today. By the way, I forgot to say that.
The national team.
Wait, there's an app.
There's an app.
I know there was an app before.
How did I miss this? There's an app.
I know there was an app before.
Press release, and then I'm not entirely sure if they've done like a lot of posting on social media, but they did send out a press release. So yeah.
That's right. We're not on those press releases yet. Like,
oh yeah, definitely not on this press. One
there
day.
we go. It's actually in English. I have no idea why. Wait, there we go.
It's probably because that's what it's the default on the app, and they haven't like set it up.
What's the name of the app?
Mi Selección MX.
They had it before because I used to grab all their pictures from there.
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, with the new logo.
Oh, actually, they have like their own like announcement. Why is my camera all the way this? Like, there we go. There we go.
Hey, so maybe we'll get press releases from the app.
It's called Mi Selección MX right here.
Yeah.
On the little Google.
And right there, I must say that I'm loving the fact that they actually have like the matches for like. Let me do this again. They have the matches for the men and the women.
Cool.
That is really awesome.
You know why? It makes sense that they probably have something like this. I wonder if you can use your ticket through there too, because of the upcoming games. Maybe they needed it for. This is where you could potentially get your tickets because you need to do like online registration. I wonder if that's involved with this too. But either way, cool to see.
Sign in.
Oh, you can skip that part.
All right, guys. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you again for coming. Everybody that's on, Nicholas, everybody that jumped on, David Contreras, and everybody that's watching us on Twitter and on YouTube. We'll see what happens with these games. Cesar, I believe we're also going to do a space before and probably halftime of the show for the Mexico games. So yeah, join us on Twitter for a Twitter space right before when the starting 11 comes out. And
hopefully we'll be in a good mood by halftime.
Join us and we'll let you guys talk. Yeah, we'll see what's out. But yeah, all right, guys, have a great one, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one. Hasta la próxima.